Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me here today. Halo Infinite has received its latest update, Content Update 32, and with it brings the Banished Honor operation. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the information here on Halo Waypoint, and then we're going to jump into the game and take a look at it for ourselves. So with this update, we're getting a whole bunch of new things. We're going to get the exchange, we're getting a sandbox update, the Forge palettes have been refreshed. And of course, with it is a store update and a 20 tier pass that we're going to be able to unlock Banished themed armor. This is going to run from April 30th to June 4th. And they've actually announced the next two operations as well, which honestly caught me by complete surprise. I expected them to essentially wrap up after the last operation. I did not expect to get another one. But let's go ahead here and we're going to look at the dates on the new operations as well. This is Tenrai 4 is going to be coming from June 4th to July 2nd. And from July 2nd to the 30th, we're getting Spartan Surplus as an operation, along with the Match Composer, which is going to let us essentially look for any type of game type that we want, thus eliminating the need for the playlist that they have. I also expect there to be a new UI refresh along that as well, because unless they add it in on the menu right now, there's not really a spot for it. So we'll see what designs change and what comes for that. But with this one, we are getting a few changes with the sandbox. The plasma pistol is returning the EMP burst to vehicles. It's funny that it's taken them 3 years to add this in, and many people were surprised that they removed that ability to begin with. The MK50 Sidekick is getting a slight reduction in rounds per second, which is something that I think is actually good for the game, because I've been melted by the Sidekick. I feel way too fast and one too many times, and it made it difficult for other weapons to be able to counter it. And the S7 Sniper is getting the ready up speed, so when you pick it up off of the floor or off of one of the weapon racks, it's going to be up and available to use quicker than what it usually would. The Cinder Shot is also removing the gravity effect. Now, I've been playing this game since its launched, and I had no idea that this gun had this ability. I guess they're removing it. They're also lowering the gravity hammer's range, so that you're going to have to be a little bit closer in order to be able to get a one-hit kill with the gravity hammer. And the spike grenades are going to detonate when they rest. They're not just going to be on a timer from when you throw them. So if you launch one from across the map, it'll no longer just explode in the air. It won't blow up until it actually lands on something. They are, of course, getting a Big Team Battle playlist refresh, and of course, we've covered what's to come. We're going to look at what's in the shop and the actual game. But yeah, the shop has, of course, received the coolest, in my opinion, coolest armor sets that are Banished themed, but that are stuff that you might have seen on elites in the campaign, which is something that the community has been asking for, is a playable elite core. But instead, I guess they're just giving us the elite themed armor. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the actual game. So with the update, we're keeping the same opening screen that was refreshed recently with one of the newer operations, and I expect it to be refreshed, or at least given us the ability to choose what the menu looks like, much like they did with the MCC eventually when development wraps on this game. But yeah, here we are with the main menu. The first thing that you're going to notice on the right is the challenges. You have the daily, practice makes perfection, and it has a little SP logo next to it. That is one of the new additions is with this is you're going to be able to earn Spartan points, which you're going to use in the brand new exchange shop. Let's go ahead and take a look at this here. Now, I've been playing the game since launch, so I'm going to have many of these items. The Platinum Anniversary was given away in the very beginning of the game when it was the 20th anniversary for Combat Evolved and the franchise in general. One of these came with a bundle, I believe, as well. But these are also from one of the events that they had that I think was supposed to be a spring event that ended up getting delayed just because it's rabbit themed. But yeah, and then of course there's visors and emblems and backdrops and AI models. This has a lot of potential, the exchange shop does, because there were a lot of things that were done through promotional materials, whether it was through Twitch drops or pop figures or codes off of candy bars, things like that. They're going to end up putting that type of stuff in here. There was something that I remember that was a $40 or $50 nail polish color that came with an armor coating code. And I'm wondering if that's going to be available eventually. But yeah, something that I would like to have seen them do that they do with the MCC, which of course they have the golden model with the MCC and they still choose to do things differently for Halo Infinite, but is to add a section that lets you show what's coming up for the shop here, for the exchange shop. That way you know, oh, this is going to come up during the next round of the refresh. I'm going to save my points. Now, the points work differently in this, too, than they do in the Master Chief Collection. You'll see 30,000, 9,000, 6,000, 1,500. These are all arbitrary numbers. In the Master Chief Collection, you earn 1 Spartan point at a time, and things at most, I think, cost 10 to 15 Spartan points. So adding it into these thousands, I don't understand what the point of that is. But yeah, this is essentially 30 Spartan points, 9 Spartan points. Maybe it enables them to have the half in there, because there are no half Spartan points in the Master Chief Collection. But yeah, this is it here. We went over this in a previous video, though. Earning all the available Spartan points in a month that you cannot actually earn enough to get this Xanadu Falu coding, which looks pretty cool, admittedly. But yeah, they definitely have to do some tuning here when it comes to the shop stuff. Now, going into the actual shop, they have things that were previously available. The Combat Evolved Mark V, I did buy it. I'm a sucker for nostalgia when it comes to Combat Evolved, so I had to get it. But yeah, instead of actually having each individual armor set available to buy, they just dropped it in a giant bundle for $3,200 or 3,200 credits. And that has a new weapon model, which this is very Destiny looking, in my opinion. But yeah, these are admittedly some of the coolest looking stuff, and of course they put it in the shop for sale for a huge amount. And what I talked about earlier with them being elite themed, the mandible jaws on this scream elite, of course, with the big addition onto the helmet as well. But let's go ahead and actually take a look at what's new here, which is the Banished Honor Operation Pass. Now you have, of course, when you buy it, you get this Fuego or Figo Flame, probably definitely mispronouncing that. And then, of course, here are the Spartan points. They've removed all of, in their words, to the fluff for this. They have added in just the armors and Spartan points. They've taken out emblems and backdrops and XP boosts, primarily. I think you're only going to be able to get XP boosts now from the in-game shop where you have to pay cash for them. I don't think you're going to be able to earn those anymore unless you haven't had the previous passes here that you could go through and buy one by one, and these will contain all that stuff. But these definitely don't. The operations don't have these anymore. One thing that I do want to mention before we jump in and check out the newest Arena multiplayer map playlist is this daily challenge. This used to provide 500 XP towards whatever battle pass you had active at the time. And what I've noticed a lot of players have done, such as myself, is banking so many XP boosts. Essentially, you could activate it and play one or two matches and jump two or three tiers in the battle pass at a time. Them taking away that 500 XP is going to slow down the battle pass progression for the most part. You're going to be only reliant on the match XP, and you're also going to be reliant only on the weekly challenges. And does anybody remember the fact that when they implemented the match XP, that it was considered the match XP beta? And they've never officially announced, like, oh, hey, we're out of the match XP beta. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into Corrosion 24/7. This is the new arena map. Most of these playlists have still all just kind of remained the same. And again, I would expect over the next couple of months that this is going to be the last moments that we have with this user interface. There was a tweet a while back from a company that had shared on Twitter that they had been proud of the work that they did working with 343 on Halo Infinite, and they were essentially a UI design company. All right, we are in a match of Strongholds. We're going to play this here and take a look at this new map. I've heard a lot of criticisms with this new map that a lot of people think it's unfinished or unpolished, strictly by the way that it looks. And I heard someone say the other day, which completely like clicked when I heard them say this, is that this looks like a Halo 5 Forge map. Just because Halo 5, when it came to their Forge maps, the maps, for whatever reason, had a huge lack of like fine details. And that is something that people have been criticizing with this, is that the map looks bland. Yeah, and honestly, I have to say that, again, I spoke earlier in the video, I really didn't expect Halo Infinite to receive any more updates past the last operation. And the fact that they've been able to get these operations out with such consistency really just kind of blows my mind, that I don't understand why they didn't continue the seasonal model, or at least they could have just changed the way the seasonal model worked. They could have said, hey, listen, the seasons are going to be smaller than what they usually, or like than what they have been. They're going to be 4 to 6 weeks. They're only going to be 20 tiers. They're going to have Spartan points, and they're going to have a couple of armor sets and maybe like a weapon model. And I feel like people would have been satisfied with that. They of course could have the usual weapons tunings, or the new maps. Maybe say, every 4 to 6 weeks we're going to give you guys one or two new maps at a time. The fact that the seasons are coming out sooner and they're not as big gives us the opportunity to be able to put stuff out faster, if it's just like a little bit at a time. I don't know. I really don't understand why 343 decided to just come out and just can the whole thing. Like I've said, I'm surprised that they've been able to put out, you call it content, an armor set with a couple of new maps and stuff every now and then, which is, since they've dropped the seasonal model, they've updated the game way faster than they did with the seasons. So I don't know. Yeah, this map it's okay. Not terrible. It's not like great either. I can't make maps personally, so I guess I really don't have any business criticizing a map that 343 thought was good enough to put in its player rotation. But yeah, I just my game type is Slayer. That's Team Slayer or whatever. The strongholds, while not being terrible, it's not usually my game that I would be in playing. And of course, when closing the game and rebooting it, and this is probably going to happen every single time for most players, you're met with this Banished Honor operation screen where you could buy the premium pass for $5 essentially, or unlock the season pass and all items with a $20 purchase. Honestly, I would not recommend spending any money, any cash money, in the shop anymore. And a reason for that being, and not too many people understand or know this, but eventually when this game stops being supported online, the customization that you've earned and that you've purchased, paid money for, it's unavailable. If you don't believe me, unplug your Xbox from the internet and then load up Halo Infinite. The campaign doesn't work, or at least it didn't the last time I did it, and none of the customization items that you've purchased or unlocked in game also show up. So I don't know how they can get away with that, but yeah. But that is the latest update for Halo Infinite. Let me know in the comments if you guys are still playing. I may have a few nights where I pop on here and stream just to get the Banished Honor armor and the Spartan points. I think this might bring me back into playing it at least a little bit more than what I have been recently. But let me know in the comments section down below. If you guys are new around here, consider subscribing. I upload content and stream weekly. But until next time, thank you guys for joining me here today, and I'll see you all in the next video.